morning and welcome to episode 21 of the Grey Nomad Knits. My name is Jill and I'm coming to you from Perth, Western Australia, where we're finally getting some autumn weather. We're now getting temperatures in the low 20s, which is a far cry and very welcome relief from the 36 degrees we were getting the last time I did a video. So I'd like to welcome all of you and thank you for watching, taking the time to watch, and also a welcome to any new subscribers. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button and that will help me immensely. So on my podcast I mainly talk about my knitting and crochet endeavours and also travels, hence the nomad in the title. We haven't been able to travel much lately though, firstly because of border restrictions, and secondly, they've lifted now, thank goodness, but secondly because while we weren't able to travel much, my husband took the opportunity to do some work. He's now gone from full-time down to part-time, which means we'll soon be free to get away again in our caravan. But we have to wait. He has a new car arriving in July because it's got a more powerful engine to tow our van, so we won't be able to go anywhere until that arrives. But in the meantime, we're flying out tomorrow morning to Brisbane to see our daughter, our youngest daughter. We haven't seen her for nearly 3 years, so we're really looking forward to that, and I will make sure I take lots of photos and videos to show you. So in the meantime, let's get on to my works in progress. Now, I think I've shown you in my previous episodes some of the market bags I've been making. Well, I've been making some new ones, and this is the current one I'm doing. And once again, I'm using Bendigo Woollen Mills cotton, and these are in, I think they're 10 ply, which is like an Aran weight. And look at this beautiful colour. I have decided when I start to sell these, my shop is going to be called the Jacaranda Forest. So it's going to be a world where you can go into where all the products you can use and use and use, and you won't have to throw them out. So it's all about being sustainable, having sustainable products that you don't just use once and throw away. So this is a beautiful colour for my Jacaranda theme. It's probably the only one I've got in that colour, but that's okay. So at the moment I'm making beautiful like string bags. Let me just take this hook out, pull that yarn through so I don't lose where I am. Now, it's a bit hard to see these. I have got some finished ones I'm going to show you. What I'm going to do is hold it upside down. So this is the base, and then it's just a lovely string market bag, and this one's got a lovely stripe feature in the pattern, and then they have a really nice thick handle so you can put it over your shoulder without digging into it. I'm also going to make another range where they have the little wooden handle, so if you want to just carry them without putting it on your shoulder, you can. But I love this colour. I've only got about another 10 centimetres to go on this one, and then I'll be putting on the handle. So that's going to come to Brisbane with me, and I shall hopefully get it finished while we're not doing much in the evenings. My next project I would like to show you is another crochet project, and I did show you so I forgot to mention that bag, the patterns I got off the Bendigo Woollen Mills website. I can't quite remember if it was one of their free ones or a paid one, but they had a pattern for like 3 or 4 different string bags. So that's the last one. I'll show you the others in finished objects. Yes, I've been making all of them. Now my next whip, I did show you this the last time, is my Phoenix blanket by Hooked on Sunshine. Now, I haven't done a lot of work on any of my projects because I've still been incredibly sore, but I seem to have my medication levels just right. For those of you who didn't know, I've been suffering a nasty dose of the shingles, and the medications made me all over the shop and just felt a bit like a zombie. So I stopped taking all of them. But then the pain came back worse than ever. So I started on actually I'll talk about it more later. Okay, so, but just to say for now that it has stopped me doing a lot of my craft work because I've just been too sore, too uncomfortable and too tired. But the reason I've done so much crochet is because I find it more comfortable to do with the pain. So I have started working again on my Phoenix blanket. I haven't done a lot more since I last showed you, but this is where I'm up to. I've got onto my next row of the dark grey. So it's coming on. Oh, it's really hard to show. Just lifting it up for you. It's going to be quite big by the time it's finished. So I'm going to do another row. I've got this row to finish off the grey. Actually, I was showing you back the front. There we go. That's the right side. I've got another row to do. Finish this row on the grey. Oh, sorry, I've got my words all tangled up. I'm going to blame the drugs that I'm taking. So after I finish this row of grey, I think I'm going to do one more row, which will make it about the same width as this one. Then I'm going to do just one, possibly two more rows of the silver, and then I'll go back to the dark grey and just continue in the dark grey until I move on to the next colour. And I did show you the colours the last time. I'll just get them, just a moment. So this is the colour I'm using at the moment. I know the light's not terribly good in here. And then I'm going into this colour. I think that's called Fruit Tingle. And then into this colour, which is called Violet. So I think they're going to look really nice together. Yeah, I like that. As I said, this is also from Bendigo Woollen Mills. This is the 8-ply cotton, which is like a DK weight. So I'm really enjoying that. And I did say in my last podcast I wouldn't be doing any more of this until I finished my COVID quarantine blanket. So that's a little clue as to what's coming up later in the episode. The next work in progress I'd like to show you is my Outback Ozzie Koala by Alan Dart. I was going to try and get a lot done on this, but I've just been so tired in the evenings. And although the pieces to this are very small, there's a lot of shaping in them, and so you have to be aware of what you're doing, and it does require some concentration. So I haven't done a lot, but I have done the arm, and as you can see in this picture, it's quite fiddly because he's got 3 fingers and 1 thumb. So I'm just going to show you the pieces I've done. They're all buried down the bottom of my bag here. So like I showed you the last time, I think this is the head, or will be the head. And then I've got the body. And I've also done these tiny little pieces. Not quite sure. I think that goes down the front on his tummy, like that. I can't quite remember. And there's a little black piece. Let me have a look at the picture and see if I can work out what all these little pieces are. But you can see what I mean by they are quite fiddly, and they involve a lot of shaping. I know this black piece will have stuffing in it, and that's going to be his nose. It's going to be very cute. And that little white piece is the little piece that goes under the nose on his chin. So that'll go under here, and his black nose will sit on top. And then we've got these little pieces, which I think are part of his ears. It's 2 of those. And the other part of his ears is going to be done with this fluffy stuff, and it's all unraveling. But yeah, so that's going to look very cute. Now, the last part I've started working on is, and do you think I can find it? I'm getting in a bit of a tangle in this bag. His arms. I've finished one and the other one is on the needles. So obviously I think that's his thumb. This has got to get sewn up along here, and there's his little fingers. Now you have to put stuffing in these, and I can barely fit the tip of this knitting needle in, but I can. So if I stick this up, let's put it in this finger here. Oops. There we go. And that gives it that nice round, see it swiveling? That gives it that nice round shape. So what Alan suggests is you use tweezers and you just put in tiny bits of stuffing at a time. So there's no rush for this, so I'm just going to take my time with it. And I think it's going to be really cute. So I've started on the second arm, and then I think that's most of the body of the koala finished. It'll probably be the fluffy bit on the ears, and then it'll be just the hat to do. So it's definitely coming on. As I said, I've never knitted a toy before, and I'm really enjoying this. When I bought the pattern, I bought some other patterns of his as well. So I'm going to look forward to making some more of those. I think the scraps I have from this one, plus some Stylecraft acrylic DK scraps that I've got, I should be able to source enough yarn to make some beautiful little creatures. So that's something else to look forward to. So we'll just pop all of Ozzie's stuff. He's got a little, oh, that's right, I've got to do his clothes. He gets a little green jacket and I think little brown shorts, and he has a little hat with corks hanging off. So for the people who may live overseas and don't know what the little corks are for, we have a terrible, it's not just the big blowflies we have here, but when you're out in the bush, you can get hundreds of thousands of what we call the little bush flies, and you're forever going like this. So the corks hang on threads from a bushman's hat, and then the movement of the corks as you're moving keeps the flies away. We'll see. But let's hope it works for Ozzie. So that's my Outback Aussie Koala by Alan Dart. I'm still making progress on my Carenza cardigan, but I've really only done a couple of rows since I last spoke to you, so I'm not going to show you that today, but I'm hoping by the next time I'll have the second sleeve finished and that I will have picked up the stitches and started on the collar. And once the collar's done, I'll know how much yarn I've got left to finish the body, and I'll just keep knitting until pretty well I run out of yarn. So that's the story on that one. Now on to finished objects, and I actually have one. I finally bit the bullet and we had a cooler day, so I got out my quarantine/COVID blanket and I finished it. And it's a bit hard to show you because it's quite big, but I shall attempt it. But I have taken some photos, although they're not very good. You know what my photography skills are like. So I'm just going to show you it, and this time I'm going to show you it the right way up and not upside down like last time. So here it is. I'll stand up, it might make it a little easier. That one there is the COVID bug itself. I'm just going to show you the rear side because some people wanted to have a look at the back. So with my weaving of the floats, I tend to go up to 5 stitches before I catch it. I find that if you do it more than that, it tends to pull the stitches in from this side and distorts everything. And I think it was Alice Starmore said in one of the videos I've seen of her, talking about her Pharaoh knitting, that she actually goes 7 stitches, but I thought for a blanket that was pushing the boundaries a bit because you could catch And I don't know how well these will all float in together because there's all different types of yarn in this blanket. So I just did the 5 and I think it's turned out really nicely. Didn't take, I actually, as I was knitting these, I would weave in, you can probably just see here if I come up a bit closer, I started to weave the ends in as I was knitting, so then all I had to do was snip them off. But there were still quite a few ends, especially here where I joined at each corner. So every block of 4, I'll just sit back down. Every block of 4 that I joined, I would then sew those ends in before I joined the next block of 4. So basically every time I joined a point where there was nothing else to be added, like this one here, once I'd joined these 4 and added them all together, the ends that I had in this center point where I knew nothing else had to be added, I then sewed those in. So at the end, I really only had these ends here that finished at the border left to sew in, so it didn't take too long. I did tell you I was going to do 10 rows on the border, but I actually only did 7 and then the cast off. Well, I picked up the stitches, then did 7 rows garter stitch, and then I cast off. And because I felt that that was enough, I don't think it needed any more. Now, these squares, I've told you many times you can get the pattern for the squares off the Arden Carlos website. I'll put the link in the show notes, but you get onto their blog and then there's a search field. If you type in square, it'll take you to the Sit and Knit for a Bit podcasts. And as you have a look through different episodes of those, you will find links to the charts for the squares. Now in their charts, let me show you, for example, on this square here, you get the pattern for all this bit that's in the red and all the colour work. That's the actual chart. I added the border, so because I wanted each square to be framed, so I did 6 rows garter stitch and then I started the charted row. But at the beginning and the end of each charted row, I did another 3 rows garter stitch in this colour. Now, that meant a bit of mucking around. So like in this square, down here, you've got a couple of rows of just the plain red. And I didn't want to carry this colour all the way across the back. So just for those first few rows, I used the intarsia method. So I started by doing my 3 rows of garter stitch in the background colour. Then I dropped it, kept it attached and twisted it. And then I knit across here. Then I joined another colour, the same colour background. I joined another ball and twisted them. So if you don't twist them, you'll get a gap going up here. So you've got to twist them to link them together. And then I did my 3 rows. Then the next row I did my next 3 rows, left it attached but twisted it, continued in the red, twisted it and continued in the dark colour until I got to this row. Once I got to this row, I then started continuing with the background colour across the row because I was using it, as you can see, in the Fair Isle, in the colour work section. Then when I got to here, I twisted it with the previous ball of this, and then I cut this one off, and that was then I wove the end of this one in as I knitted back the other way. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, so a couple of rows here, and at the top I had to use 2 balls of the background colour on each side, using intarsia, but the bulk of the square I was able to just use the 1 ball of the background colour and take it backwards and forwards using the colour work technique. And you can see it, I'll show you the back of that square. So here you can see is that square? It is, but you can't really see it that clearly because it's all starting to felt in, but you can see here the red stitches going all the way across, and then I twisted them and just continued with the dark colour. but it is very hard to see because a lot of this is already starting to felt, which is very nice. So that's it, finally finished. And although I think I've told you I didn't really enjoy the progress of it, I was so excited when I first started it, but after a while I just got a bit tired of it, I suppose. And I don't really know why, because every square's different, but I don't know what it was really. I just found that some of this yarn and the colourwork stitches became a bit uneven, and I tried to keep my background colour always to my right so that I wasn't chopping and changing between colour dominance, but some squares I was happier with others. But anyway, I'm really happy with the end result, so I'm glad I persevered, and it now lives happily on the back of one of our chairs in the lounge room, and I shall put some photos in here. But please be aware photography is my worst talent, I suppose, lack of talent. And because I took these photos this morning at 8 o'clock, the light in our lounge room wasn't very good at all. So I had to put the overhead light on, and of course that created a big shadow from where I was standing. So forgive the bad photography, but I hope you like the finished product. I have some more finished objects. We did go down to our friend's place at Denmark for Easter, and I took my crochet hook and my shopping bag patterns, and I managed to finish 2 bags down there, and I had actually finished one before I went. So I'm going to show you them again upside down. They basically start off, they're all the same base. How nice is that? And they're all using Bendigo cotton 10 ply. So they all use the same base, but the body of the bag is different, but they also use the same handle. So this is my pink one. And I'm really happy with it. And this is this lovely wide handle. So if you want to take them shopping, they're really comfortable to sit on your shoulder and put whatever shopping you need inside. And of course, being an open mesh, they do stretch out and hold quite a lot of goodies. So that's my pink one. And this one's a lovely coral colour. So there's the lovely base again. And this one's a bit more open. And of course the lovely wide handle. So you could put one of these in your handbag. They roll up quite, you know, they are a little bit bulky, but if you take a fairly decent sized shopping bag with you, you've always got one of these then that you can put your grocery purchases in if you're just getting a couple of things, or if you're going to a local market and you just want a bag that you can put some apples or bananas or whatever in. Perfect. And this colour, I love this colour, and this is the first one I did. So once again, it's the same base. And this one's very open. So this would be for your larger pieces of fruit and vegetables. Very stretchy. And once again, you've got this beautiful wide handle. You can see here where it's attached. That side, it just continues on. So I'm very happy with those, and I'm really enjoying making them. So I'm going to take a ball of cotton and a crochet hook with me to Brisbane and work on those alongside my Ozzie Koala. Okay, now I did a little bit of shopping since I last spoke to you. Now, this was an impulse buy because someone on here in Western Australia, we've got a Yarn D-WA page on Facebook, and someone posted these. Now, my beautiful Phoenix blanket that I showed you, I would like to do another similar pattern to that, but in a really proper ombre effect. And I've been trying to work out how to do it without having multiple rounds of the dark stripes. I want to start in the paler colour and then have it gradually blend out to just the darker colour around the edge. Now, there was a lady on Facebook selling these. I'm going to tell you what it is first. It's called Colour Spun yarn. This is in the colourway Red Wine, and it's an earth-friendly pure cotton DK stroke 8 ply. Now, it doesn't say on here where it's made, but I have googled the company. I think it's South African. And she had three packets of this, and I think I might need to purchase another 2. But of course I got these 3 at a greatly reduced price. Haven't taken all the paper wrapping off. It came wrapped in tissue paper, which was lovely. So this is the label. And this is the colour. Look at that. So when I do my blanket, I'll start using up these ones from all the different packs, and then I'll move on to these ones, and I can control the colour gradient then all the way up to the dark ones. So I'm really excited about that. As soon as I get back from Brisbane, I'm going to order 2 more packs. I've got to work out how much I need first, and then I will, it doesn't tell me on here. Oh yes, there's 125 metres in each one of these. So I'll work out how many I need. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6. There's over 700 metres in each of these packs. And I think I need 3,000 or 4,000. Whoops. So I'll work out how many more I need to get and get them ordered. And I made one other purchase off Etsy. If I want to buy something a little bit more unique, I always go to Etsy because I like to support small independent businesses, like I keep bragging about my daughter's business. I wanted to get a nostepinne. I do have 2 ball winders. One was a very expensive one and it never works well. I have looked at all the video tutorials on it, and every time I'm trying to wind a cake of yarn, it starts slipping and sliding and getting tangled. So I went back to my old trustworthy Knit Picks plastic one, and that works well every time. But it can still, with the thinner yarns, it can still slip and slide a bit. So I decided that I'm going to start, especially if it's just a 1 skein I need balled up, I'm going to start using a nostepinne and hand wind them. And I bought this from this shop that I found on Etsy called Gorgeous Groovy Gifts. They also have some beautiful wood-turned ergonomic crochet hooks, so I might look at getting some of those later. And they also have some beautiful handmade pens, biros. So that if you're looking for a special gift for someone, I would highly recommend them. This is their card that came with it. It's so beautifully crafted. Look. So when you wind it, you start off by securing your end in this groove, and then there's tutorials on YouTube. So when I start doing it, I will do a video. And then as you wind, your yarn stays secured down here. It's tapered at this end so you can then slide it off easily when you're finished, and you have a perfect centre pull ball that theoretically, I hope, won't tangle. So I'm really looking forward to using that. It wasn't very, I can't remember what I paid for it, but it wasn't very expensive even with the postage. I'm so excited to use this, and I'll hopefully be using it when we get back from Brisbane. So once again, I'll give a big shout out to the shop, Gorgeous Groovy Gifts. So that's the end of my knitting content today. We are heading off to Brisbane tomorrow to see our daughter. It's been a long 3 years. We were going to go at Christmas, but our borders shut again, so we had to cancel it. So we're heading off tomorrow, and on Saturday, my favourite West Coast Eagles football team, we call it footy here, it's Australian rules football, are actually playing in Brisbane on Saturday night. So our daughter is in their supporters club over there. She's got us tickets to go. So her dad is going onto the ground or field with her to help hold up their banner as they run through it. And I'll be up in the stands. She asked me to go down, but I'm still quite sore from the shingles, so I don't want to be holding up the banner. I'm happy to be up in the stand taking the photos. So I'll get lots of photos, hopefully. I'm expecting our team to get flogged because they're having a really bad year this year. So that's okay. We're just going to go and enjoy the day. It'll be wonderful spending it with our daughter and going to such a fantastic event. And then the next day is Mother's Day here in Australia, so she's going to take us somewhere special for that. And then we've got another 3 or 4 days with her, and then we're going to go down to Sydney for a couple of days. And I'm going to hopefully visit the wonderful Skane Sisters yarn shop. I don't really need to buy any more wool, but I do always like to make one purchase when I go there as a bit of support for them. So yeah, and then we head home. So we're away for 10 days and I'm just really looking forward to it. Now, something I want to tell you about at the end of each podcast now is my journey to better health. I kind of went off track before when I started to do this and piled on quite a few more kilos. But at the start of this year when I got the shingles, it's absolutely debilitating. And I had to take so many drugs for the pain that I felt quite ill and I couldn't eat. I barely ate at all for the first week. And I'd say for the first month, I was only picking at food. So needless to say, in the first month, without really trying, I lost about 4 kilos. Then my appetite came back. But I decided that I need to get healthy. So although my appetite came back, I made a pledge to myself that I was going to mostly stay off sweet things because they're my biggest downfall. Give me a lovely chocolate coated cream cake or something and I'm in heaven. So I have largely stayed off the sweet things. I may treat myself to one thing while we're away in Brisbane because we'll be on holidays, but since I've been staying off them, I've almost lost my desire for them. I do sometimes get a bit of a craving, but I just tell myself now, well, you know, if I have this, I'm going to get the taste for it again. So I'm just staying off it. Hubby's even lost a couple of kilos because he hasn't been getting cakes bought for him either. I didn't even have chocolate really over Easter. My friend gave me one of those beautiful little gold Lindt bunnies, and I decided that one night I was going to treat myself to that. So I started to eat it. I started at the head. I ate the ears and the nose and got down to the neck and then gave the rest to my husband because I just couldn't eat the rest. So that's how I intend to keep going now. And I have now lost almost 10 kilos. It's 9.2, I think. So I'm really, really happy with that progress. I'm hoping by the time we get back from Brisbane that I'll be in sufficient state with the shingles to start walking again. We will be doing a bit of walking while we're over there anyway, but I can't walk long distances as I get out of breath and just too sore. But as our weather's cooling down here now in Perth, I think in 2 weeks' time when we get back, it'll be the perfect time to start a walking program again. So that's it. You can't really tell that I've lost nearly 10 kilos, but if I stand up and show you the waistband of my skirt, that's where I can see it because that was tight before. So I'm very excited about that and I'm determined to keep going, and hopefully you'll see each month a new and better improved version of me. So that's it for now. I shall see you all in a month or so when I get back from after I've had my lovely holiday and hopefully had some time to do a bit more knitting. So stay well wherever you are in the world and stay safe. Bye for now. I'm sorry, I'm back again. I just forgot to tell you that the photos at the beginning of our recent trip to Denmark at Easter on our friend's little hobby farm, and the animals are all grown up so much. They're so beautiful. And I'm also going to put at the end today a bit of a funny video with my husband trying to round up the chickens in the evening. So I hope you enjoy that. Bye.
The old trick-a-roni! The old switcheroo!